Oh, snap. Now I just got to go on to YouTube to double check to make sure, it's been a little while since I've been live. Man, it feels good to be back live, though. I just want to make sure it actually went through and it's working right now. Sometimes it takes a little time. A lot of the Google products have been down today. So, you know how that go. And, yep, perfect. Now let me just change this thumbnail. We are live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live here on Veteran Influencers Podcast. Today, we'll be doing a live workshop, and I'm about to change the thumbnail right now so you guys are actually able to see what the title of it is, and it's going to be on a master brief sheet class. And we have an absolute expert, not to put her on the spot or anything like that, but we have Miss Amanda Kirkman, and she's actually been on the show before teaching the fitness report class. So we'll go back to our we're going to do like a little bit more of our introduction, but if you guys could just do me a quick favor, you guys go in there, share the video out, let everybody know that we're in here. Definitely a lot of knowledge that's coming. She's coming straight from the Marine Corps University, the Staff Academy, and giving you guys a lot of jewels today. So take about 2-3 minutes. Do me a favor, share the video out, and we're going to be right back. I got to figure out how to change this real quick. Yeah, buddy. So how you feeling, Amanda? You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Look at that. Got some of my people in there already. My boy Chorus Knight, appreciate you jumping through. Savage Moses Gaming in the building. You know what I'm saying? Always representing. I gotta refigure out how to do something on here. I'm just gonna change the thumbnail real quick, and then we're gonna be right back at it. I definitely gotta get that music back. I had like a little group of music, but I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it's whatever. Come on, people. Why are you not showing my live video? It does. It's on its own program. I'm telling you.
Social media is done for the day.
Man. Just believe me, it's been giving me that work today. The absolute work. But, it'd be like that, I guess. Which is funny because it's like I literally just clicked and now it's not working again. I told you before, the social media or just technology in general, they'll get you, man. Mm-hmm. They will get you because I was literally just on there, able to actually able to adjust, and like now it's just not letting me get on. Interesting. Very much interesting. I wonder if I can do it through here. All right, I'm gonna try to do it through here. Come on. All right, cool. I think it's not letting me do it through here. It's real quick. And we're going to call it an easy day. Sorry for it taking so long. Like today, the whole day with this stuff has been killing me. All right, here we go. So how long does it normally take for you to do like an actual setup like this? Like where you like put the class together, or is it like something that's already like put together? You put like your own like little twist on it?
All right, so CME usually gives us a PowerPoint, like a lesson plan that we have to meet, like learning objectives, but then we have to personalize it to us in order to teach it pretty much. So this is a 3-hour class at the Academy, and it happens at the end of the cycle. And it's kind of amazing. We'll get like brand new sergeants who've only been a sergeant for a few days. Like in my last course, we had a sergeant who was only a sergeant for 3 days prior to checking into sergeant school. So he didn't know like even where to find a master brief sheet at or his OMPF, or like never had a fitness report class. So
no, I'm just talking mess.
It's true though. Like you'll have one like, where do I do my 2 TAD fitness report from? And it's like, that should have been done before you checked in.
You're joking, right?
No, and it's just like brand new and just different commands and different, different Marines and just not knowing. I think a lot of that's going to be cut out with JPES because JPES sets these new Marines up with already kind of being familiar with the system a little bit.
Right.
So I think it's they're gonna be familiar with writing billet descriptions and accomplishments and stuff ahead of time. I think so. I think it's gonna be a little bit easier.
No, that's good. So. Yeah, I definitely love to hear stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest, like this, like I'm not having a favorable time, so it's gonna say that I'm live. It's not actually. Okay, were you able to share it out on the on your Facebook? Did you see the button that I was talking about?
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, so if you go into YouTube and there's like a weird looking arrow.
I got you.
Yeah, then you're able to actually it should ask you like what site that you want to share it on.
Yep, I did it.
Awesome.
It's done. Should be done.
Here in a second. Come on, did it show up? You know what? I'm gonna just go on without it. Oh, there we go. I see it. I'm about to see if I can download it and add that to it real quick. Just literally like 2 more minutes and it's about to be up. Everything is moving slow. Everything is moving slow. Appreciate those that are still in here waiting patiently. Thank you, because yeah, today is not working out too great right now for me, but we're gonna make it work because it's a very interesting class. It's definitely something that you should stick around and learn about and see. You know what? I'm not gonna do this live because I'm just gonna wait. Whenever it's done, then I'll put it on there because I cannot.
Oh, it's not up there right now.
No, it's just there's some type of difficulty. I'm not gonna continue to deal with it while we're live. So we'll just have the other thumbnail, and then obviously you can see by the title of what it's gonna be. So,
okay.
Yeah, buddy. Said, how are y'all today? Hey, man, good, Savage Moses. Thank you, bro. Hey, and good stream earlier today, man. I'm not sure if you're still strolling, but only 3 days. Wow, no problem. But I know, bro, she's a beast, man. So I'll actually what I'll do is I'll have my editor link to another video that we did, which is the fitness report class. And I know that thing's been picking up views. It's probably got like an extra 1,000 views in the past, probably 5 days. It's crazy. Algorithm just literally picked it up and just started running with it like CFT ammo cans,
As they should.
Oh no, am I frozen? Hold on.
You are.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. And of course they got me.
I was like, it never picks a good angle when it does said things.
Whatsoever. It said, dude, come on, people. It's like StreamYard is not, I forget what they called it. And it's like, do you want to wait or do you want to close down the exit the page? God damn it. I'm probably going to have to exit and re-get back up here. Give me like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Goddamn technology. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you leave me live alone?
For like 2 seconds. Oh my God. Did you say something you weren't supposed to?
It was super awkward. I was just like, oh geez, am I live still? I thought like everything was gonna hang up.
You're like,
I started auctioning off like base housing, no big deal.
Oh, please don't get me in trouble. But like I said, for those of you guys that are here, I appreciate it. Hey, I'll definitely send you that link. Savage Moses. Actually, I still need to share this out because I was a little bit late to the broadcast with this. So I'm going to put it on Facebook. And, Facebook is acting a little extra today, but I'm going to put it out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the whole world shut down. They're like, oh my God, Instagram. Oh.
My husband said he thought it got hacked.
Yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah,
I
I'm not sure like how true it is, but there's definitely some truth to it. But like I said, everybody, hey, welcome back. Appreciate those that shared it out. Thank you guys for sticking around and being patient with the technical difficulties. But I brought stock for a while. But I appreciate you guys joining, and hopefully, I know you guys are gonna get a lot out of this class. We will definitely be reposting it. I'll do some editing and all that good stuff as well for those that are going to be on the playback crew and that do miss the live footage. But today, like I said in the introduction, we have Miss Amanda Kirkman, and she works directly for the staff. Well, they call it Marine Corps University now, right?
Yep.
And she actually just recently graduated a class of sergeants, which was actually great because one of my sergeants were in there, and of course, I know he kicked butt. Big shout out to you, DeVeris. But so like I said, we're gonna get into this. Is our live workshop that we're doing with the master brief sheet. And is it lagging right now? My boy said it's lagging. I think the connection isn't the greatest.
You're not lagging on my end.
No. Mm-mm. All right. Yeah, we're gonna go through with it because on the actual playback for the record, it won't be lagging. And then if nothing else, then we'll actually, it'll make everything look nice, just like the last one. So. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amanda Kirkman again.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm gonna go ahead and put the PowerPoint on. The biggest thing is me and Gunner Sergeant Ryan, Seth Ryan, we did a fitness report class not too long ago on this platform. And it kind of went through the whole part of like how to create an MROW, how to submit it, what's like the do's and don'ts of a fitness report. And the second half of this whole class goes into an actual master brief sheet. And I can't tell you how many Marines get a master brief sheet and they're like, what is it? Or, what do I do with this? Or what do these numbers mean? Like, what do you mean I got to do math? And pretty much what a master brief sheet is a collection of where all your fitness reports go once you submit them. And you can go to Marines.mil. And there's actually like a 3-minute video on what happens during a promotion board. And the master brief sheet and the fitness reports is where a lot of these Marines who are going to be on the board, on the promotion board and the selection board, pick, like this is where the verbiage and the information they get comes from to brief you when you're in zone or in below zone or in above zone, if that makes sense. So it really can make or break your career based on your fitness reports and your master brief sheets. Yeah. So can you see the PowerPoint?
I'm about to bring it up right now.
Oh, sorry. I was already there.
Bam. There we go.
I already kind of went over what is the purpose. The purpose is to let you know how you fall amongst your peers, how you're graded. It's a collection of all your fitness reports that obviously the promotion board can see as well as yourself. And then moving along. So when you see I'm gonna do this. That better?
Yeah, I mean, that's good for me.
Okay, perfect. That's what I meant to do. So let's start at the very top of the master brief sheet. We're gonna go ahead and work our way down. So whenever you pull up your master brief sheet, OMPF, the very top part is your administrative section. A lot of this is gonna auto-populate. So you want to make sure it's up to date is the biggest thing. So you want to make sure it's your most current. When we get down into like your key date summary, your EAS is going to be there. Make sure it's your current one. When we're going to go ahead and move to the right. So your awards, all NAMs and above should be in awards, all those personal awards that you have. So obviously you would run them through an EPAR and then you would email it also to the section that's in your OMPF to update it. And you would send all 5 pieces of a NAM. So it has your actual award, it has the write-up, the summary of action, it has all the pieces. All of that needs to be emailed up to have it reflect in your OMPF. And then your EPAR, when you submit your EPAR, it's going to go ahead and update it onto the header of your master brief sheet. So basically a board member who gets assigned you should be able to see what's on your master brief sheet and then go into those sections within your OMPF and verify all that information is there.
So for those that don't know, can you explain what an EPAR is? And then also there was another acronym that you said, I forgot what it was.
Ooh, I said OMPF and I said EPAR. So I have to look at what the actual acronyms go through, but EPAR, you would go to Marine Online, your MOL, and then it says EPAR at the very top. So there's not even an acronym you need to know. Just look for that word. And then that's where you would submit the document saying that you need this reflected on your master brief sheet, which is where you would attach the award information to. And then from there, for your OMPF, right when you go into Marine Online again, there's a OMPF section. And on the very first page, there's an email off to your right-hand side that it says to email this if you want to update your OMPF. You would also attach those same documents and send it to that email. That way it's reflected in your folders on your record, as well as the EPAR. The EPAR, pretty much what you do is you submit it. You submit any documents that need to reflect onto your record, and that would go to your S1, depending on what it is, or your S3. So for more information, please go talk to your S1 clerk. I'm pretty sure they can help you out if an EPAR needs to be submitted. Does that help?
Perfect. Yeah, because I try to think. A lot of like corporals and lance corporals, they don't really know much about the OMPF, master brief sheet, fitness report. Now, granted, obviously they're not at the point to where they actually require it. However, I swear it's so much nicer when they have an idea of what it is prior to actually happening.
Yeah. So what I normally tell when I teach different places, definitely like whatever you do, like if you have your college education, for example, if that college education isn't ran into the platform, into your Marine profile and your Marine record, it's not going to matter. It's not going to help you on a board because it's not being tracked. It's not being documented. So between EPARs and updating your OMPF to the email, that's how everything gets tracked and updated to your record on Marine Online. Your header and administrative sheet that you see here on your master brief sheet, as well as in your OMPF, there's different folders. If you go into your OMPF, by going to Marina Online and picking OMPF, you'll select different folders, and it'll say like individual education, off-duty education, civilian education, and then your entire Marine Corps record, good and bad, is in your OMPF by those folders. Okay. So that's how we want to make sure we're tracking both. So moving along, so we want to make sure any NAMs are above that you have that are current are updated and visible in this award section. If not, you need to do an EPAR. So you can talk to your S1 about that. And then your military occupational specialties, your MOS, this is going to have all of your MOS schools. So from any MOS school you basically have, like I'm a warehouseman, but I also have an instructor. I have an instructor MOS now, which is an alternate MOS. And you can see this is not my administrative sheet. I stole it from Gunny Ryan. He gave me permission.
Hopefully he did.
He did. I messaged him last night. I was like, hey, I'm going to use this. But he helped me formulate my class when I taught PES, when I got certified to teach PES at the academy years ago. Nice. But basically, you can see he's a marksman coach and a marksman instructor, so he has alternate MOSs. So those MOSs are also displayed. So if you're MAI, if you're McQuist, if you're a range coach, if you have a degree that technically, according to the MOS manual, and you can Google that, there's a way that you can get that alternate MOS added there too. If you were a drill instructor, if you were a recruiter, think of any alternate MOS, it should always be displayed up there. Okay, does that make sense?
Perfect.
Cool. And then to the right, like I said, moving to the right again, you see training summary. That should be your most current, up-to-date information. And that's important because you don't want to go up in a board and be in zone and like all your stuff is not up to date. So it should be anything that's the most current should be ran there. So it's not like, oh, it's my best CFT ever that's going to go here. It's your current one. All right. You don't get to pick. You don't get to pick.
You ain't slick.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and move down, and that goes into your education summary. And you see how he ran his high school diploma there?
Right.
So fun fact, the reason why that's so important is because there's Marines who don't have a high school diploma, that actually get a waiver and get to join the Marine Corps. So that having that high school diploma does set you apart from some that do not. So if you have your high school diploma, you would add that by doing an EPAR. Absolutely. And then under civilian education, that's where your associate's degrees and your bachelor's degrees and your master's degrees will also go. And like I said, I already talked about it when I talked about awards, the 2 ways that you would submit it. So you would submit an EPAR, go to MOL, click EPAR, new EPAR, and it would be under your education settings. Just so y'all know, I'll briefly touch on that. And then from there, you also then have to go into your OMPF and look on the right-hand side when you open your OMPF, and you want to send the same degree and your official transcripts to that email to Headquarters Marine Corps so they can put that same information into your record on your OMPF.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Absolutely.
All right. So military education, it goes all the way from recruit training on. So any school you've ever completed that is military based will be there. And then to the right of that, we have PME, professional military education. And that would be all your professional military education you do within the Marine Corps. Obviously, we know for promotion, you have to do sergeant school, you have to do career school, and you have to do advanced school. Some things that would set you apart would be that SJE PME, senior joint enlisted PME. That would also show up there when you do it. So you can complete one, I believe, as a sergeant on up, and then you can complete SJE PME 2 once you're a gunnery sergeant. And then there's also, you can go to the Naval War College, and there's some Navy PMEs that they do accept for us to do, and that will populate there too. So I don't have much more information about that, but I can at least let you know there is you can do some Navy PME and have that reflect onto your PME page.
So, so obviously this is the cover sheet of your, your master brief sheet. How important is it? Like, let's say you have, let's say you have something, right? Like, let's say you have obviously gone to some of these MOS schools, but they're just not indicated on here, or because they haven't been ran.
You're not getting credit for it is the biggest thing. So it's important because it's your career. And the Marine Corps right now, they're not in a need you basis. It's how good are you? Because we're only keeping and retaining and promoting the best of the best. So having those schools completed sets you apart from your peers. So it literally could make or break you. It's our job to kind of keep up with our stuff. So you could be slicking yourself out of a promotion.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And obviously if you're not PME complete, you're not going to, unless you have a waiver. So right. I would see the header, they brief first class, they brief your rifle range, they brief all this in that 3 minutes that they give you to brief you in a board when you're in zone, and just not having this stuff updated, you're just not helping yourself. And depending on how competitive your MOS is, like I'm a 3051 warehouseman, and we don't play. We are competitive. So like if you're not walking on water, you're not getting promoted, pretty much is kind of how that goes. So depending on your own MOS, and there's other MOSs that fall in zone quicker and they get promoted a little bit quicker. Obviously, with new Marine orders, they kind of balancing that out a little bit. But I want to have all my stuff prepped and up to date and give that board member the best picture of myself when I was in zone, to where I stood a good chance against my peers.
Right.
So does that answer your question?
No, absolutely.
All right. So the master brief sheet, I don't have a full picture of it, but you have your header data. You have your header data at the very top. And then if we move down to the left-hand side, you're going to have your administrative summary, which is this. So remember the fitness report class. This is where every fitness report gets put into play. And they come with this great, at the very top is the whole header of how it works. So the grade at the very top where it says Staff Sergeant, this Marine was a Staff Sergeant when this fitness report was written. You see the OC, it means it was the AN right there means it was an annual report. Okay. The type, it has an N, that's for normal peacetime. So you could have a C if it was a combat fitness report. You would have an A if it was an academic report. You can have a J if it was joint service. So you could have Army personnel, Air Force personnel, Navy personnel writing a fitness report on you. And it would say joint. Or it could be both combat and joint, which would be a B would be in that type, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And next, go move into the right, the from and to. So the date at the top, that's the date that fitness report started, all the way to the date that fitness report ended. And to the right of that, where you see the 9, that means that that fitness report was covered for 9 months. So it was a 9-month period. So the reason why this is important is because like when you're in zone, your board members are going to like want to look at like longer fitness report coverage, or maybe they want to see if you have a combat fitness report to see how you did in combat, or see how you did with joint service, or to see where you fell along with within a longer report. Obviously, your RS should have more to know you more in a 9-month period than in a 2-month period. So they're going to select some of those because if you go back to the Marines.mil thing, when they read off when they read out, if you remember from the fitness report class, they read out your RS and your RO comments from your fitness report. Like that is a part of it. They actually read out the comments that your reporting senior and your reviewing officer are writing about you. So they're picking them out from these fitness reports that are on here.
So as you see from like the from and to, right? So for the very first one for the annual, it's got, April 12th, and then it goes to December 31st. Cause obviously, staff sergeants got to turn their fit reps at the end of the year. Yes. But the very next one is going to be from 2017 of January 1st. So what, as far as like what we call a date gap, what is within range before like it starts to get flagged from the board members?
Okay, I'm actually really glad you asked that question. So anything over 30 days. So if you can have that would be a date, anything over 30 days, so 31 days or more would be considered a date gap where you would need to take corrective action and actually have that report fixed. And your reporting senior is the one tasked to help you fix date gaps. But this is a good little tool to make sure you have no date gaps. So you can see he ended 2016, 12/31, and then he started 2017, 01/01, which is correct. You can see the next one, 2017, 02/27, and then he started his next one the same day. Technically, according to the PES, you would want to start that next fitness report the day after the other one ended. So he would need to start it on the 28th. But that's just a 1-day overlap. So that's not a big deal, if that makes sense. That's nothing that can be corrected or should be corrected.
Right.
Okay. But anything over 30 days of that would be a date gap that would need correction. And the person that would help you with that is your reporting senior. And it looks like he has no date gap. So he's good.
Everything's Gucci.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't even look at this before I submitted it.
I was about to say, he gave you, he's like, I don't know if I want to put this on live without.
So moving on, just moving from left to right on your master brief sheet if you're looking at it. This is where people are like, oh my God, this is math. What is this? You really start losing people. And I promise, guys, it's not that difficult once you kind of go line by line to understand this. And then once you understand the fitness report part of it, watch that yet, please go back and watch it because it's going to tie into this. Okay. So you remember from the fitness report class, you have your reporting senior. Your reporting senior is going to grade you on member performance, proficiency, courage, efficiency, initiative, leadership, development, all of these things. These are all the acronyms of the sectors that your reporting senior, the first officer or the first person of higher ranking that is grading you on your fitness reports. Okay. They're going to assign that letter grade to you. Remember? So the letter grades are right underneath. So this for Major Dyson, who was the reporting senior of this fitness report I'm dealing with, he gave this Marine a E in performance, a D in proficiency, a D in courage. Okay. And just a few things. Let's talk about Major Dyson. So you can see in the beginning, so it says reporting senior and gives you your name off to the left. And then it says promote, yes or no. So your RS is always going to have to recommend you promotion unless it's your grade change fitness report, meaning you're already getting promoted and it's your last one, or if it's a non-observed report. Okay. If it is a no, if promote is a no, it is automatically an adverse report. Obviously, we have to justify it, but that's just, if you see a no right there, that means that RS does not recommend to promote you. And then you see the 21 of 22 right next to it.
Yep.
So a lot of Marines right there will be like, oh my God, I'm 21st out of 22. That's not it. It tells you what number fitness reports you were out of the total this Marine has always done. So fun fact, the Marine, the master brief sheet is kind of like the Constitution. It's a living document, living and breathing, except for this one actually self-updates. So as you do a new CFT or a new PFT, it's automatically going to go up. It's going to be updated in your administrative section that we talked about already. As Major Dyson continues to write fitness reports, that number will continue to rise. So it'll be 21 out of 24, 21 out of, you know what I'm saying? So your number that of what fitness report he was at will never change. But if that Marine stays in, continues to write fitness reports, the 22 would continue to change. So the good thing that allows people to know is if you're like 1 of 30, and meaning you were the first fitness report this Marine has ever written, it might let that board member know, like, okay, maybe this new first lieutenant wasn't, he was still building his average, or he was still building his profile. Did he have a drastic change, or has he been consistent throughout his career? So if you had like a weird reporting average compared to everything else, it could almost signify of why. It could almost paint that picture to that board member, maybe what happened there, if it's something doesn't look right compared to the rest of your profile.
Right.
So it kind of gives you leeway. So moving on, remember we talked about fitness reports. So we see the attributes, performance, proficiency, and we see the letter grades underneath it. So remember we talked about the performance anchor system. So the PARS, each letter grade holds that numerical value. So A equals a 1, B equals a 2, all the way down. And unless it's an H, and H always meant it was non-observed, so that holds no numerical value. So basically, if you took each letter grade, you assigned it that numerical value that we went over in the fitness report class, and you added it together, and then to find an average, you add it together, and then you divide it by the total number of things that you were graded on. So you wouldn't include the H. So you would say 13 attributes there. You would get the report average of a 4.31. And y'all see that right there. So that lets you know how you were graded on that report. Your report average, even though it's a living, breathing document, your report average is never, ever, ever going to change. Okay? So now we're going to talk about some that could change. So your RS average, let's say you were the first fitness report ever done. That RS would not have had an average at that time. So it might have an A right there until that person has written over 3 reports and established an average. Okay. Then it shows your RS is high, which is a 4.85 here. So you can see the report average was a 4.31, and you can see the RS average is a 4.08. So that means he's above the RS's average, but he's not the high.
Right.
Okay. And then not only can you see what the RS's high is, you can also see how many reports the RS, the reporting senior, has written at high, which is 1 in this case. I've seen RSs who had like, oh, I'm his number 1. It's like, yeah, so is 6 other people. It kind of takes away the value of being that RS is number 1 at that point, unless that person's written like 100 and something fitness reports.
Facts.
So that's just another thing. And then we talked about it being a living document. So where it goes into, this is where it goes relative value versus cumulative relative value. So the biggest thing is when this report was graded, he fell within the 93%. And then as the RS continued to write reports, he dropped a little bit to a 92.94, but not very much. So what that means is the 22nd report was also a very good Marine with a good report as well. And you can kind of look through and kind of see like where our report averages were to RS's averages at that point and where they fell. You can see, let's look at the very bottom. Do we see Captain Ward at the very bottom of the PowerPoint?
Oh.
Yes, that's a good one. That's what we want. So he averaged a 4.85. The RS usually writes people around a 4.2 on average. His high is a 4.85, and he's only written one person, which is obviously Gunnery Sergeant Ryan in this case at that number 1, which gave him a relative value of 100, and he's still at that 100. He's still Captain Ward's number 1.
Hopefully those guys don't get mad that we're like showing their averages stuff. I just thought about that.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move all the way down. So because I talked about that, let's stick with the reporting senior. Let's move all the way down to your master brief sheet, because I'm talking about relative value at processing cumulatively. I'm pretty sure people are like, what does that mean? So if you go to the Marines.mil website and you watch that promotion video, you're going to hear them reading off the RS remarks and everything like that. And then you're also going to hear the lady on the video call off things like majority of fitness reports are in the upper third, or a majority of fitness reports at processing were in the middle third, or cumulatively, majority of the fitness reports were in the middle third. Those terminologies is exactly where, remember, each fitness report gave you a cumulative value and a relative value. So you would take all those up and you would average it at the very bottom, and depending on how many reports you had in the upper would give you this percentage. Does that make sense?
Right.
So if majority of your fitness reports give you that cumulative average anywhere from a 93.34 to 100, that means majority of them are in the upper third. So if you see the sergeant at 66.7% upper and 33.3% middle, a board member, if they were briefing this person, it would be like majority of the fitness reports in grade of sergeant was in the upper third.
Right.
And that means majority of your fitness reports were rated very high. So you want to be in the upper third here. You want to have majority of your fitness reports in that upper third. As people continue to write fitness reports, you would want to stay in that upper. You wouldn't want to see too much shifting. You can see as a sergeant, as RSs continued to write fitness reports, he did shift where some of his went from majority in the upper to majority in the middle. But you can see as a staff sergeant, he stayed completely consistent.
So like, if you were a board member, like what is it that how do you paint that picture? If the majority of yours as a sergeant are in the upper, and then it almost does like literally a 180, and it's the opposite for staff sergeant. And now I also see there's 7 NA fit reps, but what picture do you paint from that? You would print off. You would mostly develop your cumulative value. You don't usually brief the at processing, from what I'm told. Obviously, I've never been a board member, but I know your cumulative value does matter. But there could be like many different things. Like maybe this person had been a staff sergeant for a while now when he pulled his report, and as RSs continued to write, maybe that's where they lowered him. But at that point, he might have been already promoted. They're only going to look at your in grade one for the most part, unless there's something crazy that happened in your other grades. So the one in grade is the one you're going to focus on the most, because it's the one that promoting board is going to look at the most. But he stayed completely consistent in the staff sergeant one. You could see, so a majority of the fitness reports were in the middle third. So did he do a SDA? I know he's a faculty advisor. I don't know if he did recruiting or not. The reason why I ask is because I know, like, whenever I don't want to speak for Jones, but sometimes when you go to SDA, it's like you don't get the highest of like type reports, I guess you can say, because you're going from competing within your MOS of something that you've done for a while to doing something completely different and
billet dictates and stuff like that. So as a faculty advisor, I had that where my fitness report was based off of my accomplishments. I was a JFA, so even though I checked in with a bachelor's degree, even though I checked in and did this and this, I couldn't progress or meet to a certain point. So my first fitness report at the academy definitely was not my best because I was the lowest on the totem pole versus like a green belt sergeant to a senior drill instructor sergeant, if that made sense. Because they're obviously that senior drill instructor is held with more responsibility than the brand new drill instructor who's also a sergeant. If it has the same RS, then yes, like someone's got to unfortunately be lower than the top guy. Not everybody gets to be number one. So it's definitely looked at like when you go to an SDA, you might go from number one in your MOS, but now you're dealing with all the top dogs who are all top performers and heavy hitters. It's going to be a breakout at that point.
No, absolutely. And I got someone sent a great point, and also like for the most part, the drill instructors, they every cycle you're changing RSs. I mean, obviously it depends because sometimes they flip flop. You might get a different RS, or I think only like once have I had it the same. But for the most part, you're constantly switching RSs. They might switch you series, so now you're going to a whole nother side. So, as a drill instructor, I think you definitely have a lot more fitness reports than you would normally in the fleet.
Oh yeah, and that's another good point. You're getting more evaluations done on you, which is going to look good in the long run too. So. I wouldn't worry about, oh my God, I have, a fitness report in the middle, or, oh, I have a fitness report in the lower, I'm doomed. It's all about your performance, and it's all about like where you fall over time, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
So I think that's important to kind of like shed light to. A lot of Marines think, oh my God, if I'm not a Marines number one, I'm not getting promoted. not every time are you going to be number one. Like I've been in for 15 years and I think I've been 2 RSs number ones. And I've had fitness reports where I'm below someone's average because that's how that RS graded me, and still got promoted. So
hey, see, there's always hope.
Yeah, you just got to show up and do your best every day, and eventually it's going to pay off as long as you're a good Marine. That's what I try to tell people. All right, so let's move on. So this is about how, like I said, this is everything how an RS, remember the top part of the fitness report, so they're giving you letter grades and stuff like that. And this is how it all trickles down. So now you got to completely switch gears because remember you have an RS and then you have an RO. So let's go into the RO. And if we remember, everyone calls it the Christmas tree or whatever, or, oh, I want to be on the 8 block. These are like little phrases you hear. But your reviewing officer is the second in the chain of, in the reporting chain doing your fitness report. And they are writing where you fall out amongst your peers as well. But they're not giving you they're not giving you letter grades on attributes like your RS was. So these people have like an 8 block. So you can see that. This is what it looks like on your fitness report with a whole bunch of comments. So let's just turn it sideways. And this is where, let's look at Major Read, which is right under here. And you'll see this is exactly how your 8 block falls. So 0 out of 1 in the very lowest block of your comparative assessment, 0 out of 2 in the next block. And then you get into your mostly qualified, your 0 out of 3, your 8 out of 4. So these are how many Marines are in each block of where he can put people. Does that make sense?
I like how you did that. That's kind of cool. I've never seen anybody do it like that.
I can't take credit for it.
Nah, you're going to get it anyways.
But basically you see the little box, the 9 out of 7. So that is where this Marine fell during this reporting period. So he fell 9. There's 9 Marines in the 7th block. So there's 9 Marines with him. And then you see 1 Marine in the 8th block. So there's 1 Marine above him in this individual report. And then if you take the 22 plus the 45 and plus the 8, that's how many people are below him. So you can see it right there. There's 75 Marines below that Major Read has graded below him at the same rank as him. There's 8 Marines with him because the 9th includes him. And there's 1 Marine above him. And that's how you read how you fall amongst your peers with your reviewing officer. So with your RS, it's your upper majority of your fitness reports in the upper third, meaning like really good, middle third, blah, blah, blah. It switches gears. And with the RO, it's majority of peers are below the Marine being reported on, if that makes sense. Or majority of the Marines are above.
Right.
So obviously in this case, this individual fitness report, majority of the Marines are below the Marine being reported on. And that falls down to the very bottom, yet again here. So you take all of those, all of your fitness reports and where your RO falls at, and this is what it shows you. It shows you how many Marines are ranked above you, how many Marines are ranked with you, and how many Marines are ranked below you. And it shows you at processing versus cumulatively. So 23.5% of Marines are ranked above you, 30% are with you, and 46 are below you. Okay.
So obviously for this one, for the most part, you're looking at the width and below. And obviously the fatter number of people that are below you, it kind of like shows you a little bit more where your position is. So
that's exactly where you want to be. You see the below, you want majority of these Marines in the green. You want the highest percentage below you, which goes into right here. Hang on. So remember I said with the RO, let's take the RO at the top portion of this. You want majority of your fitness reports in the upper third. And then on the back end of that, where the hourglass goes, where the red is, you want that green. Majority of the Marines are below you on your RO comments. So when your RS writes on you, you want majority of your fitness reports to be in the upper third. And then on the back half of that, when your RO writes on you, you want majority of your peers are graded below you. And you can do that individually, and then you can look at that bottom of the master brief sheet, and your RS is written to the left and your RO is written to the right. And the little changes is obviously as the RO continues to write people and put them in the comparative assessment, it's going to put more people with you or more people below you or more people above you, depending on how they write.
So for this one, it's showing, obviously it's showing an increase. I'm not gonna say it's necessarily decreasing their actual report, but essentially it kind of is. It's more people that are graded higher than that particular report.
By like 1%, yes.
Right.
And so basically it could have been him being in the 7 block, and then one Marine gets brought into the 8th block. And that's going to put that one Marine above you, which could alter that percentage a little bit. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And then, so that's the biggest thing on a master brief sheet is everyone sees the numbers and they lose their minds.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah. But if you take it line by line, I'm going to get out of there.
You want me to go back to the regular screen, or you?
I was trying to stop sharing. I can just. There we go. But a lot of people, the biggest thing is the whole thing has a by-step direction at the top. So just look at the very top of your master brief sheet, and it's going to tell you like what that's supposed to be, and then just drag it down for the fitness report you're looking for. And then the biggest thing is remembering your RS. You want to have that high cumulative number. You want majority of your fitness reports to be those 93s and up. You want as many of them as possible, that upper third. That's how it's going to be briefed for the board. And then you want as many Marines being ranked below you as possible. Obviously, you don't want, for the RO, you don't want the above part to be a high number, because that's saying how many Marines are ranked above you from your RO. So you got to look at it in 2 different sectors.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was it.
So for those that are possibly in zone or that might be in zone, meaning just like in the, in the zone to be looked at for promotion, how far out do you suggest, or does the Marine, or do we suggest that you actually start to look at your master brief sheet to ensure that all the information is correct and that it's complete? So
I actually have the PES. This is the performance evaluation system, like all of it, all something pages of it. And according to the PES, according to the Marine Corps Order 1610.7 Alpha, It says you need to audit your stuff at least every 12 months. Every year you should be going through and just making sure like, I got a NAM. Let me make sure that NAM got uploaded. Ooh, I earned my bachelor's degree. Let me make sure it's in my master brief sheet header, and let me make sure it's in my OMPF files. And remember, we talked about the 2 ways to do that is either eParse and then going into your OMPF and emailing those people. You're going to have to do both because they're 2 different sectors. Pretty much MOL communicates with your master brief sheet, your header, but it doesn't necessarily put those files into your OMPF. So that's why you have to do them both ways. That's the best way to kind of explain it.
Okay. So
but every 12 months, if you're really on top of it, as soon as you get something done, just go ahead and upload it and just submit it and be done with it. Do it little by little. If you're waiting till you're in zone to like get your life together, that's not the right answer.
Right.
So definitely go into because then you're gonna be like, oh man, I lost this. I can't find this cert. I can't do this. At that point, you're already behind the curve. Both times when I was in zone, I just did a very quick career counselor phone call. And that's right there on your OMPF page. It kind of tells you a career counselor phone number to contact them. And they'll actually walk the dog with you and go into your OMPF line by line. They can tell you things of what's going to make you more competitive. They're going to be brutally honest on what your chances of promotion probably are, and probably tell you like, hey, like your fitness reports, all of them are not in all of yours in the lower third, like every single one of them.
Oh, you mean when you called, they answered the phone? No, I'm kidding. I love you, career counselors. I'm actually going to do an episode with you guys. Cut me some slack.
But they'll go line by line. They will be brutally honest with you too. And you can set up an appointment with them so they will answer the phone for you.
Nice.
But I recommend that. And then just self audits, just go through your stuff. You can see on your master brief sheet and print that out. And you can see if you have any date gaps. Remember, anything over 30 days, you need to get with your RS and you need to fix them. And then making sure as soon as you get something, it's documented in your OMPF and it's documented on your header sheet for NAMs and above and anything over a high school diploma and above for education.
So I do have a few questions because I want to try to ask some things that might be common questions, or like things that people actually might be thinking about. So what are the consequences of having a date gap? Because we always, even in the military, we always pass around like, hey, we don't want to have a date gap. What are some things that the board may be looking at and to reason why it might be an issue for you having that date gap? And then what do you think the consequences are for having a date gap as far as like your chances for promotion?
So I don't want to say what it's going to do to your chances of promotion because I really don't know how to answer that one fully. I think it's like MOS depicted and how many allocations there are and this and that. But I think for the most part, if it's over 30 days, it's kind of like, look, you're reporting senior could be like, okay, the person who has to brief in the board could be like, okay, what happened during these 90 days where there's nothing? Did you get in trouble and someone not report you? Did something like, where were you UA? Like, where were you? What were you doing? There's just an absence of evaluation. So it's like, maybe you did something really great. Now you're not getting credit for it because that fitness report's gone. So it's like that, or like, it's going to make that board member question if that makes sense. As well as it is by the manual, it does require that corrective action at that point. So do I know if it'll stop you necessarily for promotion? But I know it's not going to look good. And it looks like how I tell my Marines, like, you're always going to care about yourself, right? Like if you can't even care about yourself to care about your own master brief sheet, how are you going to care to take care of a warehouse? How are you going to care to make sure people's pay aren't jacked up if you're 01? Like, how can your trust and confidence with others when I can't even trust you to update your own master brief sheet that resultly inherits your promotions, your pay, your future, your retention? It kind of could show like a lack of competence or confidence in you, if that makes sense too.
No, that's
all
great point. Great ways of looking at it. So what are some rumors about like the master brief sheet? Because I don't want to touch specifically on the actual fitness report, but like, what are some rumors about like things that people say that like are inherently not true as far as like that deals with the master brief sheet?
Like going in, like you have to be number one all the time to get promoted. That's not going to be a thing. Having a bad fitness report is automatically going to hinder you. That's not going to be a thing. let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, the whole 21 of 22, like just misconstruing those numbers. They automatically think that's where they fall with their peers. And I'm like, no, that's not it.
No.
And then just knowing, like some people just don't know it doesn't change. Like it's a living, breathing document. Every time that RS or that RO continues to write, you can shift, you can move, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And that's why
I think with fitness reports, there's a lot more rumors about like build descriptions, build accomplishments. What can I do? What does this mean? Blah, blah, blah. But I think the master brief sheet, it's pretty cut and dry. So there's not as many rumors. It's just people not knowing how to read it, I think is the biggest thing that catches them. A lot of Marines don't really explain to them.
Yeah, because like I think even when they added like a few different things to the master brief sheet, you know, a lot of the older school people had to like relearn it again after it seems like it was pretty the same for a while. Do you remember what year they actually added the accumulative and the second portion of it?
I don't know, but I know the newest version of the PES is in 2018. That's the newest one that came out. And there's always little minor changes. And the reason why is we're always trying to make sure it's like the fair, most up-to-date, relevant system out there. The Commandant has a heavy hand. MMRP, Headquarters Marine Corps, has a heavy hand because it's something they care about. Like this involves retaining the best of the best and promoting the best of the best. So it needs to be an accurate system.
I can see the lightning in the background. My lights actually just flickered. Like I was like, dude, I'm wearing headphones. If I get shocked on live, forget. Oh man, look, just do me a favor and run the views up. I don't care. I'll take the health problems.
Noted.
Okay, so the last thing I got is we talked about the rumors and I guess we kind of talked about how it's like pretty cut and dry as far as like the master brief sheet. I'll just say, what are some hidden things about the master brief sheet that like people may not know what to do? Maybe about like certain schools that are actually like rate to be on there, or certain things that people don't put on their master brief sheet that it's like, hey, I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah. So like, I'm a faculty advisor. So if you're a MOS instructor or any kind of instructor platform, you rate that alternate MOS. And pretty much what you need to do is you need to Google the MOS manual and you need to take that verbiage out. And then you need to put your certificate of you completing that school or whatever required of that. And then you need to send that up in an EPAR. And that's how you get your alternate MOSs ran. I believe like when you graduate drill instructor school or recruiting school, because those are big heavy hitters, they automatically get ran. Right. But if your S1 is not running stuff like that for you, you need to make sure any alternate MOS you have. And I think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of Marines don't know how to update their college, their education, their schools and stuff like that. And the biggest thing is the EPARs. And then on top of doing the EPAR, which goes directly into that header part of your MBS,
right,
you then need to go to your OMPF and send those same documents in an email to the email that's on the OMPF page. That way it can be reflected in your folder too. Because a lot of board members will bounce them off like, okay, it says he's an MAI. Where's his MAI cert? Well, that would be in your OMPF folders. So it's like a proof thing.
I'm not gonna lie. So, I get pushback a lot of the times because, your privates, your PFCs, your, Lance Corporals, they don't know anything about a damn OMPF on average. So I try to teach them something that was never really targeted much with me is keep all your stuff. They call it their little I love me folder or whatever. And I would randomly kind of give them class and show them what their OMPF is to show them all the things that are supposed to be in there. Cause like, I'm gonna be honest, when I picked up Sergeant and they're like, all right, let's look at your OMPF. I'm like, it's like,
And that's true. Like, I mean, people throw stuff away. They don't know the significance of like, oh, I got it. Like I did it. So I'm good now. Okay. But where's the proof? Where's it being documented at that you did it? That's what's going to be that push comes to shove at the end of the day. You could be the best Marine, but if you don't have something in writing, kind of showing your accomplishments or showing that track record, it's going to be hard for the promotion board to kind of sell you and promote you into that area. If that makes sense, it kind of gives that leverage. And a lot of Marines just don't know how to do it. I was one of them. I went on a meritorious corporal board, maybe meritorious sergeant, and like Gunnery Sergeant Stewart, he's retired now, sergeant major, but he was just like, I like had like just my own printouts of my grades. I'm like, yeah, this is like from University of Phoenix. Here's my grades. And he was like, why is this not ran in the system? absolutely not. And I was like, okay. And then he helped me out. He briefed it, but he was like, you need to have this ran. Like, go see the S3. At this time, it wasn't EPARS. It was like you brought your stuff to the S3 and they submitted it for you.
Right.
Now we've gotten electronic savvy. And I think that's why so many Marines don't know how to do it, is because the process also always changes and stuff like that too. So knowing you just go right into your own MOL, you click EPAR, new EPAR, you upload your own stuff, you send it. That's going to go to your S1, and your S1 sends it to the IPAC. And you can always log in and make sure it's like the status of it, where it's at. And that's where you can make sure that stuff gets done at. And I think that's the biggest hiccup, is Marines just don't know how to update their stuff.
And you know, the crazy part is, especially like Marines that came in after a certain time, they don't have to order their CD anymore. They don't have to wait for it to show up in the mail for them to go onto their OMPF. So, you know, they have your master brief sheet, and, you know, and be able to look at it. So for those of you guys that are out there, you guys remember that, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations. Hopefully you're about to retire soon, you know?
I was like, man, I thought I was old.
That's crazy just thinking about it. So I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, you guys are spoiled. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, you have no idea the struggle of ordering an MCI and then having to like get it lost in the mail and then have to reorder it. And
I was a barracks Marine, so I had to wait for the unit to get their mail for me to get my stuff. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm about to pick up and I still don't have my red MCIs yet.
Big old thick ones for the friggin' Corpus Course ones. Gotta love it. But hey, no, say I truly appreciate you coming on and giving this like fantastic class. Cause like I love all the animations. Like it definitely kept me engaged the entire time. And I know like once, you know, we're gonna edit it and put like little bits and pieces out and then, you know, put the video out. I'll definitely make sure I'll let you know about that. But I know a lot of people are going to get a lot from it, because just like I told you earlier, that fitness report video is picking up a lot of steam. So like right now, a lot of the reservists, their fitness reports were due September 30th. So a lot of them picked up on it. I shared it with my section as well. A lot of them got something for it. Obviously, that's where Navarez realized, like, hey, how do you know Amanda? I was like,
yeah, but, he asked me that. He caught me like week 2. He's like, I remember you. He's like, you did a fitness report class. I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, that I did. No, I appreciate you coming on and, you know, for you taking time out of your day to, you know, to schedule this. I know you got family and stuff going on as well, but I do appreciate it. And I know how important it is for you, you know, to get this word out to those that are in dire need of the assistance. Because let's be honest, when it comes to fitness reports and master brief sheets, a lot of people need work. A lot of people need work, because I for damn sure did when I was a new sergeant. I was like, all right, so what is this? Fitness. Okay, and I'm supposed to do what? You know? And
yeah, my biggest advice to anybody is download the PEZ, read it. I get it. It's not an extravagant, entertaining read, but I guarantee you'll learn something. I learn something every time I pick up this order. And whether you write fitness reports or whether you are the one submitting your own fitness report, you're the Marine being reported on, this affects your career, or this affects the careers that you're writing on, rating on, doing whatever. So like, if you don't know the PEZ, like how can you say you're justifyingly like doing yourself justice or doing your Marines justice? And I think that overall, like if we don't know the order, how can we properly do what we need to do? And that's where I've learned. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I've just learned something new. Whether it be like I have the chapters memorized, it's sad, but whether it be like you're auditing and how often you should, or what you need to be writing on, or what you should or shouldn't be putting in RS remarks or whatever, it's all in there. So, right. Or how to react to if you're getting a negative fitness report. Because a lot of people say like, oh, I still have to sign it. That's not a thing. Like that's still going to go in your record. Like not signing something does not give you a free for all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, people try to do that with like the page. Anyway, long story.
But do it.
That is hilarious. But hey, so I have like a whole other section of things, and you know, I'll get with you offline to, you know, kind of see like if that's something that you'd be interested in doing again. But I love the way you teach. You know, you were very informative, you know, very prepared and very thorough, and like the way you go over these classes. And I, for one, get a lot from it, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And whenever it's done getting edited and all that good stuff, I'm not sure if I'm gonna wait till the new season premiere to put it out, but I'll definitely let you know. And if you got some people that that can be helped by it, then maybe we can just send it out to them.
Absolutely. You have a great night.
I appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night. Bye.
Absolutely. We'll see you. Bye. Peace. Y'all been great, man. Thank you. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. Thank you for showing love and support, man. You guys are amazing, and we'll definitely continue with the content for the new season. Be on the lookout for season 3, Veteran Influencers, baby, coming on the way. Probably in the next couple. I'll let you know later. We out.